Yeah, the other one, the control.
Right. Yeah, I won't be able to see chat, but that's
I can
okay.
always pop up the questions as they come up.
Heck, that I might not want to see what's on chat if they see when they see me.
There, no echo. All right, let's go back up and say hi to people in chat.
Okay, I'll let you go.
We have Mike Irvin. We have 351. We have Polar Bear. We have Maurice Kaysen. We have you in chat. Catfish Headhunter. Mike Sampson. And Sharina keeping it real. And we have Kevin in chat with Palmetto Cats. Art One Ton. Thank you, Palmetto, for sharing this out. Shannon McChin Bubbly. I don't want to butcher that name. Do you know her?
It's Shannon. Yeah. Hey, Shannon, how are you?
Shannon, forgive me. I didn't mean to butcher the name, the last name.
She and Russell fished with me some on the boat. She's in. They're in some of my videos.
Okay, that's cool. Fishing with a dot. We got Mad Catter in the house. Now, if y'all wouldn't mind, Mike Greenwald is in the house. If y'all wouldn't mind, go ahead and share this out and get some more views in here. We have Trophy Seekers Outdoors.
That's me.
And stick around towards the end of the show because he has an announcement that he'll let you guys in on. So, with all said and done, if you haven't, thanks a lot, Palmetto. Uh, Now, if you guys have any questions, put question marks or asterisks in front of it, and we will get them answered for you. I will get them asked, and we will get the answers for him. So, give us a little rundown on your background.
Okay. First off, I want to say thanks, Avid, for having me on your show. I appreciate you bringing me on, and it's an honor to be on here. And hello to everybody out there. I just wanted to say that before I got started. My background really is I've always loved the outdoors, and as a young boy, Dad took us fishing, and when I was younger, we used to run trot line. The biggest fish, the biggest fish that I'd ever caught doing that was like 18 pounds, and I hadn't catfished in a long time. And about 2 years ago, a friend of mine uh, talked me in. Let's go do some catfishing, and we went, and never. You know, my thing was I just wanted to break that 18 pound that me and my dad had caught on a trot line, and went for a year. And I live in Georgia. I live in the North Georgia mountains, which is Jasper, Georgia. So I live close to Carter's Lake, Lake Lanier, and also Altoona. Fished all those lakes and could catch some 15 pound flatheads, and there's actually a couple blues in Lanier and stuff. And I was thinking, man, there's got to be somewhere where I can go catch a big catfish. So I started actually just had never used YouTube at all much, and about probably 10 months ago, 11 months ago, I just YouTube catfish on YouTube. Just Googled catfish, and it came up, and I watched this guy, and man, he was just tearing it up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, on the Tennessee River. And I was like, wow, man, he was catching these big catfish, and I got interested. My buddy, he told me, his name's Ricky. He said, I've been up there before. I fished at Nickajack. We'll go up there sometime. I said, okay. Well, it went on, he didn't go, and I kept watching, and this guy's name was the YouTuber that I was watching. I was watching several, but the one I was really interested in because he was there in Chattanooga, Tennessee, with Joe Jellison, Chat Cat. A lot of people, he's well known for his YouTube channels and all. And I started watching how he was catching catfish up there. And I would watch his videos and I'd watch his rigs he was using, how, he was talking about, he was real educational. He was talking about the circle hooks and the weights he was using. And I just watch them, I'd break down every video that I saw on how he was doing it. And so finally, I talked to my buddy. I said, let's go up there. I said, let's go look. First, I wanted to go up there before I even pulled my boat up there and just see the river. I had never been to the edge of the Tennessee River. It's an hour and a half from my house. So I went up there and looked at it, and I said, I want to come up here and try this. It was a huge river. Yeah, I looked, I was like, holy smokes, this is a big river. Our biggest river here is the Chattahoochee River. And from where I'm at, it's big, but it's not that huge. It's nowhere near what the Tennessee River was. So the next weekend we went up there and it was dark, and I said, let's wait till it gets daylight before we get out on this river. So we went up there and I started trying the way Joe had caught up at the dam, and wham, we started catching fish. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So I had to, my father was sick and I had a call that he was getting really bad. So we didn't get no fish, but an hour and we caught 6 catfish. About 4 blues in the 8 to 10 pound range and a couple of channel cats. So then I started going back and I started catching fish. And when I was up there, I noticed the thing from watching Joe on video, I seen places he had fished. So I would go over to those places and look at them on my graph and look at how they looked. And instead of fishing his holes, because I was like, well, if I fish his hole and start catching things, then all I'm doing is following him around and I'm not learning anything. So I'd look at the places he fished and I'd go find my spots like that. And I started catching them. And I caught, like, first time I went out with me and my buddy Woody, he's on a lot of my videos. We fished together. Me and him both caught an 18-pound catfish, which tied my personal best. And then the next time I went out with my son, and we both caught 22-pound catfish. So I broke my PB right there. And of course, he caught a 26 that day, so he beat his old man. But after that, I just kept going, and I just look, and I would just try places that looked like what I thought it would be and what he explained, and it just went from there. And now my personal best flathead is 72 pounds. And Bob Britt with Bobcat Outdoors, you guys check him out also. He's a good friend of mine. He and I went up on the lake part of Chickamauga and caught a 72-pound flathead up there. And then my blue PB is 56 pounds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want you to get too far into it. I'm going to change this up a little bit.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Your latest video you just posted today.
Yeah.
Now, everybody, if you have not seen Trophy Seeker's latest video or some of his videos, go over there and watch him. His latest one is epic. If you ever have a fishing partner in the boat with you, he's showing you how to take care of your competition in the boat.
Don't make me mad. I'll kill you.
Walk us through there and why you was recording that when that happened. Set that up.
Me and my buddy Woody aren't the smallest guys in the world, And Woody, he's got a chair that he keeps in there. It's one of these like lounge chairs, and it's just so much more comfortable because it's bigger. And actually, we used to do it on my other boat all the time. That's what we'd sit in, was like lounge chairs. Well, it was in there, and I told Bob, and it was Bob with Bobcat Outdoors. Bob Britt was with me. And I said, hey, if you want to put that fishing seat down here in the pedestal and sit in it, you can. He goes, no, that's okay. I'll sit in this. And so he did. And it'd been sitting there a good while. But if you watch it close, we hit some little weights going down through there. And I leave my camera on all the time. I've just got a GoPro, and it's 256 gigabytes because you never know what's going to happen. And so there's a lot of bald eagles there, and I'll video them and stuff. And so I had it on, and that wasn't a setup. I mean, I had the video camera going. He had his going also. And we just hit some weights, and he tilted just a little bit the first time, and I thought, well, he knows to grab hold and lean forward, and we got to talking a little bit again, and he forgot, and we hit some more weights, and I might have gave it just a little more gas.
You hit one good sized wave because I can see it, and as soon as you hit it, he's
like, he was gone. It was hilarious. And
I bet you was going to lose control of the boat as hard as you were laughing.
Oh, it was so funny. I mean,
it was
hilarious. Now all I could think of was
I went back and watched it 3 or 4 times. So I'm like, really?
It's going crazy. It's only been up about 5 hours. It's probably got close to 1,000 views.
That one you should put up on Palmetto's Golden Whiskers.
Yeah, I did. I sent it into Golden Whiskers as a blooper here.
For a blooper award, because that one was perfect.
Yeah, I did. I sent it into Kevin to the Golden Whiskers today also, because it was just so funny. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
But I mean, that was funny. I've seen it, but I'm like, okay, what's the plot? What's going to happen? What is he going to do to someone that's competing against him in another boat? I wasn't thinking there's going to be someone in the boat with you.
That title, that's the only thing I think of, that title. So that's why I titled it what I did. We laughed about that. Was about halfway through the trip. We had a ball. We actually wound up catching several fish
that was epic.
Yeah.
We just sitting there all of a sudden.
It was funny. There's no
you have
go see something funny, go watch that.
Yeah, that was funny. That was just priceless.
Yeah, it was.
And you have another video up just behind that one.
Yes, sir.
Of you freelining a catfish.
Yeah. Yeah.
What got you into freelining catfish?
My buddy Joe. I mean, I've learned, like I say, I've learned so much from Joe. He and I have become really good friends, and I watched him do it on videos, and he and I talked about it. If you want to really catch a lot of fish, Joe's a guide over there on the river also. And so what he'll do a lot of times, he'll go free line very first thing in the morning. You catch several. That way his clients, they've caught several. Then he'll go chase a big cat. That's what he does. And so I've started doing it with friends. If you watch my videos, you're going to see just so many different people fishing with me. I enjoy taking people and letting them catch their PB and stuff. And, I'll ask them, hey, you guys want to go up here and do a drift also? And, Joe's like, I asked you, I said, hey, what size hook are you using? And he told me it was a Kell hook, a 5/0 Kell hook. And, and I just watched him and seen what he was doing. And, what you do is you tie a leader on because you want to swivel because they spin, of course, with no weight at all. And we just go up in the boils right at the dam, at the Chickamauga Dam, and just start drifting. Then you just keep the boat, straight because there's a railroad track, bridge trestle there that you got to watch when you're going down there. So you got to keep your trolling motor going all the time. And you just free line that through there, and you'll keep your line just, not real tight, but just tight enough where you can feel it. And they'll just come up and just explode on that chicken breast. You usually get eaters, somewhere between a pound to 15 pounds, but Joe's caught some in the 30s and 40s doing that also.
Now, what kind of setup would you need to do a free line?
What we use is just basically what you'd use, just a spinning reel like you'd bass fish with, anywhere from 10 to 12 pound test line. Now, what I do is I run a line. I have my 10 to 12 test line, and I don't use anything but mono. I just like mono. I tie on a swivel. And then I use a 30-pound leader past that just because of the rocks and stuff in there. I mean, there's a lot of rocks there. And then I put a 5/0 Kell hook on there. I use Mustang 5/0 Kell hook and tie that on there, and that's it. And then just the weight of the chicken, lets it sink. And you don't try to slow down any at all. You go with the current. So, because if you try to slow down, then the chicken just floats up to the top of the water. So you kind of keep the boat, straight for whenever it's going to go through those railroad trestles. But other than that, you're just sort of drifting down through there. And
you do have a fan in here that's been trying to hook up with you on several occasions to fish with you, but he says the schedule keeps falling through.
Who's that? Is it Daryl?
Fishing with Big Mike.
Oh yeah, Big Mike. Yep. Hey, Big Mike, hit me up anytime, buddy. I really would enjoy fishing with you for sure. I'd like to get him out on the boat because hey, he's way more experienced than I am, and I love swapping ideas, learning. Man, I don't care how old you are, you can always learn something new, and I'd love to fish with Big Mike.
No, I've watched Big Mike fish from the bank.
Yeah.
And off fishing piers, and some of the baits he throws is what I throw, but I mean, he gets into some heavy current.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I can get out in some heavy current with the rods I've got, but if I had fishing piers like he did on the Mississippi, I'd be way out there.
Yeah. Big Mike, he doesn't. He might remember, but I'm not sure. I met him one time, and I didn't know who he was, or I would have talked to. Well, I mean, I talked to everybody anyway. But I was trying to catch skipjack at the dam, and as I was leaving, he backed in, and he had those rod and reels. They stick out of the back of his truck. They were sticking out of the back of his truck, and they sticking out of the back of that truck looked like they were 12 miles back there. And I said,
no, don't be talking about my truck like that in my rods.
And I said something just being, I'm always a jokester, and he might have thought, well, you're nothing but a smart aleck, and I don't blame it. I said, you need to put a red flag on the rods if you stick it out that far out of the truck. And I was joking. He moaned something like, yeah, and he probably thought, get out of here, you smart.
Well, me and Big Mike have one thing in common.
And then I realized after I said, you know what, that was Big Mike.
Me and Mike,
I don't know if he remembers that or not, but it was when the skipjack was running up to the dam, and I didn't even realize that who it was whenever I said that.
I will give Mike this. Me and him have one thing in common. We have big rods for the bank.
Yeah.
Mine are heavy action. I don't know if his are, but I fish with anything from 11 foot to 15 foot rods.
Oh, his has got to be 15. I mean, he backed up to the parking lot spot, and of course he backs in to the sidewalks going down through there, and his rods were sticking out past the sidewalk. I was like, my God, what a rod! I never, except for out on the ocean on the beach, and I ever seen these that long. I mean, they were just.
I drive a Ford Ranger with a 6 foot bed.
Yeah.
With a 15-foot rod sticking out of it.
Right.
Yeah. So you imagine what people are thinking when they're walking around my truck.
Yeah.
You got rod racks with 3 11-foot rods sticking up out of the top of it at almost a 30-degree angle.
Right. Yeah. Well, like I said, they stick out a long ways, but hey, well, if they work for him, that's what, I tell everybody goes, I get asked, what kind of rod do you use? I say, whatever works for you, buddy. I mean, I use ugly sticks. I still use half of mine are ugly sticks. And I'll have somebody get in the boat with me and go, good Lord, how do you catch anything on these flimsy rods? I said, hey, they brought in a 72-pound flathead. So I have some Mad Cats now, or I have a Mad Cat now. My buddy Woody's got one. So I fish with, I've got 2 Mad Cats I fish with. Really like those. Those work out pretty good.
We got a big leaguer in here in YouTube. He just hit 3,000 subscribers today.
Oh, cool. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Catfish Headhunter.
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
And welcome 3+1, Lance.
Is that Larry?
No, that's Lance, Hawaiian fisherman. I'm trying to see who else. Sharina came in. Maurice. Sunfish Assassin. Now, if you guys have any questions for trophy seekers, please feel free to ask questions with asterisks in the chat. And if you guys feel like donating to my PayPal account to help with my channel, it would be greatly appreciated. All the money will go back into the channel and helping Catfish and Pappy, who had his tackle stolen. a few days ago. So I am getting some tackle together to send to him to help him get back on his feet and to help him get some his electronics that was in the car that was stolen as well. So, at what age did you get into catfishing?
I'd say my dad fished and hunted all my life. So, as far as specifically just targeting catfish, only 10 months ago, really. Just about 10 months ago is when I just really started targeting the catfish. And, I'd fished just like everybody else had, chicken liver, we would catch spring lip. We'd run trot lines. We'd catch spring lip. We'd catch minnows. We'd talk whatever and fish with whatever. But as far as really getting down to it, really about 10 months ago, I've been doing YouTube for 5 months. I just started. I started videoing just because I was like, I started catching some good fish, and I was like, man, I can't take good pictures of them out here by myself when I started out. Nobody, wanted to go all the way to Tennessee with Daryl that they didn't even know could catch a fish or not. So I was fishing a lot by myself, trying to take pictures and stuff. And I was like, well, I've got it. I had a GoPro 3. I actually had 2. I'm like, I'm going to put these on the boat. And that way, at least I can video something. And so I started videoing. And, the first time I went out and videoed, my buddy Woody went with me. And it was the very first time I videoed. We caught a 55. He caught a 55, and I caught a 56-pound blue, all the same day. And then we caught some 20-pounders also. And that was the first time I'd ever took a video camera with me. And I'd only been going up there, like 2 months. But like I say, I used to play football in high school, and we broke down film on other teams, trying to, you'd watch other teams learning, and I guess that's what got me watching Joe and breaking down his film and seeing just how he done stuff. And so, I had to learn a lot just before I ever got on the water up there. And now he and I actually fish different areas of the river pretty much, but he likes to target down trees that he can see. And I more target stuff under the water that I just see on my electronics. I really use electronics a lot up there to find fish, and it really works, especially fall and winter and spring. Now, summertime, I can see them on the ground, and you don't always get them to hit, but a lot of times in the fall and spring and winter, if I can find them on the ground, I can usually catch them like that. But not that way so much in the summertime. It's a lot harder.
Okay, 3+1 wants to know, is Bob okay after you got done throwing him around the boat?
He hit his head, so we know he's all right. Come on, Larry. You know that. You've met Bob. Bob's all right.
Hello, Woody Hollander.
Woody Hollander. He's my fishing partner.
Okay. If you're new in here, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification and the thumbs up so you can catch my lives every week. And when I go fishing and do live fishing shows and cooking videos, so you know when I come on. And if I can get someone to keep posting Trophy Seekers link in chat, it would be great. And yes, if you do hear water running in the background, that is my live hole in my bedroom. And hello, Catfish and Pappy. So, how is your boat set up?
And I'll tell you what kind of boat I have. I used to fish out of a Carolina Skip center console, and it wasn't wide enough. And I really, just be honest with you, a center console is a little frustrating for me trying to get around it, and it wasn't moved forward enough. So I finally found a tracker. It's a 175 SC, which is a deep V bottom boat. It's set up really for up north, for like walleye fishing, trolling really. So it works great for me because it's set up to fish out of the back of the boat. So my boat, of course, I have a rod rail going all the way across the back of it. So I found this boat, and gosh, it was a good deal. I couldn't I just couldn't turn it down, and I love it because the seat swivel where you can turn and look out the back. And so, I run all my fishing the river. You fish, you have to fish the current, so you run all your rods out the back because you're anchored out the front. So it works out really good for me for that. It's just a pro. It's a pro. I can't remember what it is. Pro 175 or something like that. Yeah, excuse me, my memory is horrible, but it really works good. I've got electronics on it. I have a Garmin on there. It's a 9-inch screen, and I really like the Garmin. It shows me a lot on the bottom, and of course, it has the mapping. And I really rely a whole lot on electronics when I'm out on that boat. Now I'll say this much right now. I'm not as much because like I say, I can see them out there a lot of times or not. But also I fish a certain area of the river. And so I've learned certain places where different fish even are. I mean, I can tell you a flathead area where I have a certain area. If I want to go try to target catfish, flatheads, I go to that area. If I know where I can target blues, I can go that area. And if I want to catch channel cats, I know what area to go that. I fished that certain, it's a 10-mile area. And you think, well, that's a huge area. But in a river, those fish can move around so much and get on different type of structure. They may be on a muddy bank, not bank, but muddy area there one day and be over in trees the next day and then be out in a rock or a lot of structure next day. So you do a lot of hunting and looking for these things. And like I say, you think you catch them, you go on Friday, and you think, okay, I'm going back tomorrow and I'm going to tear them up because I found all the spots today. And they may have moved because of the flow of the river. If it rains, that river changes so much that you really don't ever just totally lock down on that. You find some of your favorite spots, but if you get stuck in a rut and you keep going the same place over, you're going to wish you hadn't, or you're going to get a lot of skunk days. I have learned if I don't hit something in these certain structures, to go hunt different structure. You really got to be versatile to fish that river.
Okay. I've noticed in a lot of your videos, you have some excellent views. Like the one you just posted today is at almost at 890 views, and that was only 6 hours ago.
Yes, sir.
And the pre-lining is at 560 views. But there's one that caught my attention. This one really intrigued me, and I watched it, and I'm trying to figure out how your friends and fish turned against you by the end of the day.
They were giving me a hard time at the end of the video about catching a fish, and then the fish we finally catch, I don't know if you noticed, it slapped the far out. It slapped me. I think it got me about 3 times. So I thought, well, why not name it my friends and fish all turned against me, because we had a rough day catching fish. And so they were giving me a hard time at the end of the day. So I decided, well, might as well put out that they turned against me. And even the fish, it got me good at the end of the day. I mean, those things, buddy, they can slap a tail, and it doesn't look like it on video when they hit you, but those things can hit you hard.
They'll slap the fire out of you with that tail.
I had one.
You have them hanging to crotch you too.
Yeah, exactly. Although I've got a video coming out Thursday where we did a night fish and had a great night, and we caught a lot of fish there. And one slap and it hit the lead weight, which is a 6-ounce weight, and it was just like a ball bat hitting a baseball. It hit it, it slammed it and hit my leg. It made a mark on my leg. It slapped that weight so hard with its tail. So those things can really slap when they tail slap.
Now, here's a question I
Yeah.
would ask all my guests. For people that's getting into fishing, into doing YouTube videos, and what advice can you give them for the catfishing, and what advice can you give them into doing more better videos like what you have?
My advice on the fishing is, you're either going to have a passion for it or you're not. But just take in what the water gives you. I mean, I love fishing, and of course, I'm targeting big fish because I use a lot of big bait and all. But look at the water. Be versatile. That's the biggest thing. Be versatile. If you're in a boat, be prepared. What I do is I set up on a place. It's basically a river. It's not as much on a lake, but if you're fishing on a river, and that's what I really say my expertise is. If I set up on a place and I don't get a bite in 20 minutes, I'm gone. I'm moving. And then I go to another structure just like that structure I'm fishing, because that's what I'll do. I'll start fishing structures that's the same, and I don't get something in 20 minutes again. Don't just keep doing that same thing. Try something different. That's what I would say in that. Bank fishing's a lot different, But with that, I would say try different baits. Try chicken. Try, bluegill. Try, whatever you can get your hands on. Try to be versatile with a bait, because I've found out, different baits are good at different days.
Right.
It's not always that. And on videoing, here's one thing I always say. I'm not the star of a video. The catfish is. And if I don't know if you notice, I don't do a whole lot before talking to deer advocate. Nobody cares what I've got to say. I'll do my talking. I try to do it as I'm catching fish, tell them what I'm doing, what I'm using, stuff like that. Because nobody wants to sit there and listen to you talk 15 minutes and then show one or two fish caught. I try to do it as that catfish is a star, and try to get good angles. What I do is, on my boat, you can't tell it, but I have two pipes sticking up on each side of my boat, and I have clamps, and I put my cameras on those posts, and then I have them where I can just wire them. I have 12 boat system on there, and I have it where I can plug those batteries in there, and I just leave the video running all the time. But just remember, people are actually want to watch the video when they're watching a video. Live is a total different thing. But if you're wanting to watch a video, you want to see somebody catching catfish. You don't want to see them talking for 30 minutes. That's my advice.
I agree with that one. Like Catfish had one that says, throw everything at them but the kitchen sink. They'll eat anything.
They will.
They might even eat the kitchen sink if you have any hamburger grease left in it.
I will say this. A lot of people believe that a catfish is a just total bottom feeder. They eat poop. They don't, guys. They eat fish just like a bass would or anything else. Don't go out there. People think, well, I'm going to go out with the most rotted, nasty chicken and catch their catfish. And I'll tell you something. You're going to mess up. Go with the freshest stuff you can get.
Yeah. Me, I like using anything from bluegill to shad to skipjack, red horse sucker, Asian carp, big head carp, and buffalo, and regular carp.
Right.
For baits.
Well, I'm going to tell you what my favorite bait is, and I promise you, everybody that fishes, probably 90% of the people that fish the Tennessee River is going to disagree with me, and that's okay. I would rather use a bluegill all day long, even over a skipjack. And I know that sounds crazy, but I have caught my biggest fish I've caught off bluegill, believe it or not. And
I love bluegill for bait, but I like having other baits in case they're not hitting on bluegill that day.
I mean, I take skipjack with me, but I mean, I just seem to get the biggest fish. My 56-pound blue was off of bluegill. My 72-pound flathead was actually off of a crappie, and it's legal in Tennessee if you catch it on a rod and reel, and it's 10 inches long to use crappies. So just throw that out there for everybody. But most all of my big catfish I've caught off of bluegill, and I do use skipjack. I keep a skip. I keep skipjack, but 90% of the time I'm going to throw a bluegill over a skipjack all the time. But I do take different baits with me. I'll use. Uh, I'll use anything I can get my hand on. I've used another catfish before because I ran out of bait. So,
Serena, it said a 72-pound flathead.
Yes, ma'am. 72 pounds. I've got a video on it. I actually did a video of just when I caught it, and then I did one. I was out with Bobcat Outdoors, and then I did one of the whole day that we fished on Bobcat. That's pretty funny video there. We had a good time with that one, but yeah, you can see it. It's on there.
Now, if you guys haven't went over and seen some of his videos, go over there and check him out. He's got one that's a really epic one that's gets your ribs tickling and laughing hard. That I just posted 6 hours ago, and he has a lot of amazing videos. Go over and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification and thumbs up, and leave him a comment. He's got some real good content. He has some good funny ones.
Yeah.
Now,
one of the videos that didn't get a whole lot of watch, and I guess it's because I maybe tried to spruce it up too much, is I have one that's called Double Trouble. And that was the day I caught a 40. I was by myself, and it was 42 or 45 pound blue and a 23 or 24 pound, both at the same. I had them both going at the same time, and it was the current was in the river was running like 60,000 CFM and just super fast. And I cut a lot of it out because it took so long. But I like to never got those two fish in by myself. I had to bring them in by myself and net them by myself, and that was a battle. And I actually catch a couple more over 20 pound in that one. But that's a good video to watch if you want to see somebody get themselves in trouble catching two big catfish at the same time.
I've got before I started YouTube, I got in that kind of position with a big cat and a net, and it's only me, and a fish in a net. So I know how that position can play.
Right. Yeah.
I have no problem from the bank.
Yes, sir. I enjoy people with me catching big fish just as much as I can. I mean, I have one where my wife, Woody, and his wife and his son went with us. We just went out. We were just actually just riding around. I said, well, let's see if we can get Tristan a big catfish. He's only 9 years old. I said, let's see if we can get him a big catfish. And sure enough, we caught him he caught a 19-pound catfish he brought in. Now, he's caught one bigger than that now and since then, but he caught a 19-pounder. And I said, well, we got him one. Let's go see if we can get a Brandy one. So we took and we went out, and bam, she got one. It was a 47-pound flathead. And so got it in. And I said, well, let's see if we can get one to my wife one. 10 minutes later, she brought in a 33-pound blue. So I love just, I mean, when somebody can get on there and just to see their face when they catch a PB, it's just awesome to me. I mean, I say
it's amazing. But I also noticed. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you go ahead.
I also noticed you have a video out there that really piqued my interest, and I gotta say thank you for taking kids fishing.
Yes, sir.
That one got 208 views on that one.
That's Tristan. That's Woody's son. We took him out, and I'm sorry, I really don't have a real good memory. I had a lot of chemo, and it hurt my memory, my short-term memory. But I think it was like 26 pounds or something like that. He bettered his PB from 19. I think.
Yeah, according to the title, he says he caught a fish almost as big as him.
Yeah, it was big. Watch it. Yeah, I don't know if you got to watch it or not, but if you watch it, when they hold it up, it's almost as long as him. And the only thing I did, I made him reel it in totally by himself. I grabbed the back of the rod just in case it pulled him too hard. But other than that, he reeled it all the way in by himself and everything. So, and he's
That's
only 9.
amazing. Now I know you go after your own bait too.
Yes, sir. I catch my own bait.
What rigs do you use for your skipjack and your moon eye and your shad?
Yeah, well, we don't have moon eye, but if I'm going for skipjack, what I generally do is just use either a crappie jig, like you're going to do crappie. We usually put about 3 on at one time. I usually put a white, a chartreuse, and a yellow. And then if I figure out they're hitting one of the others more, then I'll tie on all the same of whatever color. And then I use a spoon, just a small spoon. And that's what we generally use to catch skipjack. And then usually if I'm trying to catch anything like the bluegill, just red wigglers or night crawlers, how I catch those. I can't throw a net because of my shoulder. I have a bad shoulder. And so I can't throw a net, so I can't do anything to try to catch anything else. So that's the thing that I mostly fish with.
So I know you did the video of your 72-pound flathead in February. That was 4 months ago.
Yes, sir.
What was that feeling like?
It's funny because we'd had so much fun that day, and it was funny. Bob had missed. I mean, we had just missed fish left and right, and most of the time it was Bob, and I gave him a hard time. We was having fun, and so I had heard, and I just tell you a little bit about what went on there and the reason I had such a good feeling with it. And I'd heard about the plant up there, Plant Vogel, and it has a pipe that pushes hot water out of it into the river. It cools down the stacks. It's
right,
and so
it's like a power plant lake.
Yes, sir. I said, hey, how far is that? I'd like to fish. He goes, he said, it's just right up here. He goes, I don't really have much luck about it, but we'll go up there and try it. If you want to go try it. I said, yeah, I'd like to try it. So we went up there and we anchor locked just below it. And I just dropped the bait straight down and we threw a couple out. And actually, Bob's the one that's seen it. He's got, whoa. And it had doubled. My pole was just down in the water. It pulled so hard straight down. And so I grabbed it and I started reeling it up. And it didn't really fight hard. I think it was probably, they go so sort of almost hibernation in the wintertime. And I think I must have just dropped that straight down on his head because I just dropped it straight down to the bottom and just put it in the rod holder. And it didn't fight real hard coming up. But when it come up and we saw how big it was, we both just about went crazy. We was like, oh my God, how are we going to get it? It was so big, it was trying to get it in the net. We got it in the net. And the realization hit, if you watch that video, when we got it in the net, it was like, wow, we have really done something here. I say we because, if I'm in the boat with somebody, I feel just as good if they get it or whatever. And we were just high-fiving, and that was just the greatest feeling because we'd missed fish, we'd been hunting them, and then all of a sudden, bam, this monster hits and comes in. And it didn't fight hard because he asked me at one time, he goes, do you think it's a trophy? And I said, I think it's probably over 25 pounds because I'm used to the river current also, and we were up there in the lake, and there just really wasn't any current there, so it was a different type fight. I had to just tug him up, but had him up pretty good, but it's just like you can't explain the feeling. And I stood up on a toolbox and picked that thing up, and it was just so long. It was like I think it's 54 inches long or 58 inches. It was huge, and it was just like
Those things are beasts.
Yes, the state record's 84 pounds, so. I was only 12 pounds off the state record, which, 12 pounds is a lot of weight, but when you're going up into the 70s, 80 pounds, it doesn't seem like that much whenever you think about it to me.
Yeah. So, everybody in chat, let's keep Lee Evans' wife in prayer. She's going to go into surgery tomorrow, and let's pray that she gets the healing she needs and everything, a speedy recovery and all that for her. So let's keep her in our thoughts and prayers for tomorrow in surgery. Now, You have another video that I found real interesting.
I got a lot of videos, don't I?
Yeah, but this one is like Double Trouble Under the River.
That's the one I was talking about.
You decide.
Yeah.
That one got 324 views.
Yeah, it didn't get a lot of hits, and that's the one I was talking about earlier, where I caught the 40. I think it was 45 pound and a 25 or 27, something like that. I had them on the line at the same time, 2 different rods, and that's when I was talking about. It was such a fight that it was. I was give out time got them in just because they were running like 60,000 CFM down the river, and it's a fight. You ought to see somebody having to fight 2 fish at one time in swift current. That's a good one to watch right there. I think I caught 4 fish over 20 pounds that day.
You got some good videos out here, and the views are just astonishing.
Yeah.
You got 762 views.
Yeah. I work hard to try to get them out there where people can see them.
Yeah. And you come up with some funniest and off the wall titles.
Hey, it got to be different, man. Mama said I was a little different.
Oh, you're different. And this is for the people that also is a hunter. I noticed you have one video in here that sets yourself completely apart from fishing.
Yeah.
The spring food plot management.
Yeah, I deer hunt also, so I'll be doing some deer hunting videos also. That's one reason I put Trophy Seekers outdoors. When once bow season starts, I'll be doing fishing videos and I'll be doing deer hunting videos. I've also got I've got a person I'm going to go hog hunting. Next year, I'm set up to go on an alligator hunt. So I'm gonna do more than just catfish, just because I love the outdoors, and we've got land in a house down in South Georgia that we've been trophy hunting, and I hunt with a bow, I hunt with a muzzleloader, I hunt with a pistol, and I hunt with a rifle. So I'm gonna try to see if I can take one with each weapon this year. I did last year with everything except for a crossbow, but I love hunting with a pistol. It's just so exciting to try to do that. And of course, I'm ethical. I practice, and I know I can hit, out there at 50 yards with a pistol, and I'm not going to take a shot any further than that. I am an ethical hunter, and make sure that everything I do, I try to do it as ethical as I can, as make sure that it's a good, clean hunt, and nothing's that I do it the way it should be done. I guess you'd say.
Okay, Lee Evans wants to know: does Daryl fish with using live scope?
No, I don't. It is. I have the ability. I just don't have the money. In other words, my graph is set up where I could plug it in, and I'm not sure that it would work good for the way I do it. It might would if I was like trying to look into trees that were falling on the side of the river. I'd love to go with somebody that had one that would say, "Hey, hey, let's go in my boat and see how it works on the river for you." If I knew somebody that had it that I could go check it out, I'd love to. But one thing, it's hard to hold a boat steady if you're going to try to do something like that in a tree because of the current. So you got to basically get there and try to spot lock if you've got a spot lock on the tow motor, or you got to throw an anchor to try to look at that tree to see what's in there. And I don't know if you could tell the difference between the different species also. So I just don't know enough about it to try it.
Yeah, Larry says he loves the bow hunt as well. That's why I asked you that question.
Yeah. Larry with 3+1?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, tell him he's not to bring me up there, Kentucky. They got huge deer up there.
I thought you had more subscribers than what I thought you had.
No, 371. I think I looked for. I got on 371.
Actually, you was at 370. You're up to 372 now.
Okay. Well, thank you for whoever subscribed. Yeah, like I said, I've been doing it for 5 months now, and I get a lot of views. I just can't get people to subscribe to me. But they'll come if somebody likes it. I want them to subscribe. If they don't like my stuff, it's no use in them subscribing anyway. But we do work hard to try to bring some quality video out there. I will say that it's a lot of work. I run 3 different cameras to be able to do the videos the way I do them.
Okay, Serena says, "Wowza! I went and watched the flathead video. The head on that fish was massive. You were a lot calmer then. I'd be hoping to catch a 70-pound flathead this year."
Yeah. And you got to remember, I'm 6'4" and weigh 290 pounds. So you can imagine how fish look when they're up against me. But that fish looked big even with me,
Heck, he made you look small.
And I'd say I'm 6'4", 290 pounds. So.
Oh, me and you about the same weight, and I'm the same height. And I tell you what,
I'm a little double weight.
What made us both look small. So, what got you into doing the YouTube channel?
Well, once I started videoing these things, I was like, well, I had probably 6 or 8 videos that I'd videoed out, and I had all this footage, and so I got my son to teach me how to edit. I do all my editing too. Poor little computer guy that doesn't know anything about computers, but he
don't know anything about computers, and you know something about editing.
Yeah. And so I started editing them out, trying to cut them down to just thing. I was like, well, YouTube taught me how to fish. Maybe I can put this out there and it'll teach somebody else how to fish the river and help them out. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought, well, if I can get 1,000 subscribers, it costs me. I mean, it's an hour and a half up there, an hour and a half back. I thought maybe I could make a little money for gas money for going up there because gas isn't cheap in the boat and the truck, so it's costing me. It costs about $75 to make a trip up to Tennessee there. By the time you eat and put the gas in and the rigs, you lose rigs and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's what made me want to do it. Just mostly though, I just put something out there. I watched them and learned from Joe, so I thought, well, I'll put mine out there and let people see them too.
I heard the grandfather of live streams, Catfish Weekly, Lyle, that just came in.
Hey, Lyle.
He's another amazing person.
Yes. And
Lyle, if you have not seen Trophy Seeker's latest video he just put out, go watch it. But I guarantee you'll be busting the gut laughing. It teaches you how to take care of competition in your own boat. That is an amazing video. It's epic. Oh, he says he's seen it.
I'm telling you, it took off. I mean, it really took off. I was like, holy smokes, look at all the people viewing it.
I know. In 6 hours, that thing has went up to 953 views.
Yeah, and usually that's not current. I can look on my little app, and it usually, when it's going that much, a couple hundred higher than that. But, it's going to go crazy. I had one, I don't know if you've seen it on there or not. The one where I got runoff from my fishing hole.
I see that one.
It's over 2,000, and it was, and it was pretty much clickbait, but it was funny. I mean, me and my wife was sitting there and fishing, and this beaver comes out, and it goes all the way around the boat, just splashing and splashing and splashing. And finally, I said, and you hear over here, I said, okay, you can have this place. I'm gone. I finally just pulled up and left.
You got ran out of a fishing hole by a beaver?
Yeah, I was ran out of my fishing hole by a beaver, but I just ran out of my fishing hole, and I put the nerve of this guy, and the guy was a beaver. But it would not leave from there. I didn't even video as much, or I didn't put on his video as many times as I done it, because over a 15-minute period of time, it just did it over and over. And my wife started laughing. She said, I can't, we're both just laughing. I mean, it wanted us out of its territory. I finally said, you can have it. We left.
You come up with some good content.
Thank you.
what do you look for that kind of good content?
I don't know. Let me tell you something a little bit about my background. I used to run a professional wrestling company, and I did 90% of the writing on that, as far as the storylines and stuff like that. So I have a big imagination, and then I would video stuff and have to come up with what we call promos and stuff. And so I just had an eye for looking at that stuff, and so I sort of look at it doing that with doing my videos also of how to do things, how to edit them and stuff like that. For trying not to give you try to give the things that they want to see and don't give too much of it where they get tired of it and they go somewhere else. I won't tell what it's doing, but I am about to put out a series of videos that's it's sort of a storytelling deal. You'll see. I think everybody's gonna like it, but it's sort of a sitcom fishing show that we're doing. We just started video, and it's gonna come out. The first of it's gonna come out probably in about 2 weeks.
Now, one title that just keeps intriguing me. I haven't seen it yet, but shiners catch more than just catfish.
Well, we caught bass that day also. It was just we had shiners. I actually bought them. I bought all my stuff from Jack's Bait and Tackle there in Chattanooga. A real sweet lady there. She supported me the whole time since I've been started before she even knew who I was. She's just been real nice. And so I bought some shiners from there that morning because I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to catch. I catch a lot of my times when I go to the river, first thing I do is have to go catch bait. And in wintertime, it's hard. I mean, and so I was like, well, I'm going to get a dozen jumbo shiners. And then I went and caught bluegill also. But we caught some largemouth bass with the shiners also while we were fishing for catfish. It was, sort of clickbait, but it's not, I'm not lying. I did catch something different than a catfish,
Well, in case you just came in, he has a 72-pound PB blue cat on video that is his personal best, and that thing is huge. He's 6'4", 290 in weight, and that catfish almost makes him look small. I couldn't believe it. Hey there, Tina Ladybug, welcome. Now, what kind of gears what's your,
my rig?
What gear do you use and the line you use?
Right. I use, like I say, most of mine are ugly sticks. I do have 2 Mad Catz rods now, but I use a Kuma 3000 Classic. It holds a lot of line just because you can get a lot of line pulled out when you fish that river because, like I say, not only are you catching that catfish, you're fighting that current also.
Mm-hmm.
So they use a lot of line. They hold a lot of line. I use, and this is some really high-end stuff, big game. Trilene Big Game or Berkley Big Game from Walmart. I use 40-pound test on my main line, and then and I know a lot of people use 80-pound leader, but I just use 60-pound Berkley Big Game for a leader. And my rig, what I do with my rig is I have a sinker slide, and I use let me put it this way: if I'm anchor fishing, I use a sinker slide with a 6-ounce coin, what I call a coin sinker, then a swivel. Well, I use a rubber bead because that sinker's so hard. Then I use a swivel. Then I go to a 60-pound leader, 50 to 60-pound leader, and I do. It's pretty much a Santee Cooper rig. I put a 3-inch float on there, and then an 8-ounce circle hook. Usually it's a triple threat from Whisker Seekers. And I found when I first started, I didn't put a float on there. I would just throw it out there with a sinker, and I got hung up a lot. And I thought, well, I want to try use these Santee Cooper type deal where I put a float on there and pin it on the line about 3 inches from the hook. And I found it floated up off the bottom. I wasn't getting broke off as much. Plus, I was getting more bites and I was hooking up more. I was like, wow. So now I never fish without I have a 3-inch line float that I go on there, and it's really helped me from getting hung up, especially in the rocks and stuff, because that line, that'll, and if if it's heavier current, I might use a bigger line bobber, but that's usually what I do, and it helps me a lot, and I seem to get a lot more hits that way.
Now, is that the same rigs that you use for flatheads as well?
Same thing, yep. Now, at the end, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing new and what I've got something going with somebody else. But I've actually found a new way. Just started doing it to float the river, and if we're getting toward the end, you just let me know and I'll talk about that. But I found a new way to fish the river, and it's really working good for me. Other than I used to 90% of the time, what I do is anchor fish, and I'll still do that a lot. And of course, like if I want to go catch the eater size channels, I do the free lining up at the dam with chickens. But I've learned a different way to fish that river now also.
Now, have you ever used like bobbers for catfishing?
No, I haven't. Just because like I say, 99% of the time I'm fishing that river, and you just couldn't do it in the river with the current, because the part of the river that I fish is the main part that goes down through there, and it's not like it has any places where there's still water, so you couldn't really throw a bobber out there because it just float down so fast and get out of there. If I fished up on the up over the dam, Chickamauga on the lake, or down at Nickajack, I could do that. And I do fish the lake during the winter time. During the winter time, but mostly we're just anchor fishing it like that. So I really can't use a bobber.
No. Do you use I forgot planer boards?
Yes, if I'm dragging weights, I do use a planer board. Like I say, up on the lake, I use a planer board up there. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever tried them on the river?
You can't do it because of the current.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? You just can't use a planer board on there because they just pass you going down the river.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because the current where I'm at, I mean, they're like I say, you're going to get usually slow current, you're going to be doing 1.5 to 2 mile an hour. And if they're throwing 30 to 40,000 through there, you're going to be doing probably 5 mile an hour going down the river. So, you just can't do it that way.
So you can't bottom bounce in that current.
Oh yeah, you can do that, but I couldn't use a planer board.
So how effective have you been bottom bouncing?
I really don't do that much. Like I said, I really have. I'll just tell you that this, we're getting around to where that is, and I'll just tell you what I'm doing different now. I'm doing something like that, but what I'm doing is I'm what I call a backwards drift now. I put out 4 rods on my boat. I put 2 up front, 2 in the back, and I put dragging weights on there. And I've been letting them out and they drag. But what I do is I turn the bow of my boat in the current, and then I run my trolling motor, slowly run it up till my boat, it just holds my boat back enough to be going down the river at anywhere from 0.3 to 0.6 mile an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so my boat, and that works good for the dragging weights, because if you think about it, the current usually washes things where they're pointing down the river. So if I'm dragging, they'll usually drag across the top of it just because they're going across where it's already laid down. So the only problem is the dragging weights I have weren't heavy enough. And I taught Jimmy Smith. A lot of people know Jimmy Smith with Santee Drifters. And Jimmy, when I was dragging up on the lake, I asked him a lot of questions because man, he knows what he's doing. He sells, he sells the drifter weights. And I asked him a lot of questions. He was real nice enough to tell me. He and Joe are the two people that's really helped me out, And so he would tell me about it. Well, my daughter-in-law had gotten me some drifting weights for Christmas, but they're not heavy enough. They're only 2 ounces or 2.5. So I hit Jimmy up and was telling him, "Hey, I learned this new way to drift." I said, "I never thought I could actually drift the river because of the way the current is." But like I say, I turned the bow of the boat forward and I put them out and let them drag. But they have to be heavy enough to drag the bottom. And I've been, last week I caught a 43-pound blue and a 25, and it's something new. I guess it's something new to them that they're not seeing down through there. And they just explode on it. They see that thing slowly going by, and it's like they got to hit it before it gets gone. And there's no nibble to it. When they hit it, when they hit that bait, they're meaning business. There's no short hits or anything. They hit it so hard, and it's such an explosion. So I hit him up and I said, "Hey, I'm going to need to get some 4-ounce dragging weights because that's what I'm using is not staying down on it." So he said, "Hey," and he asked me, he said, "Hey, would you like to be on my pro staff? And I'll send you this stuff." And he said, he and I was like, "Man, I'll talk about your stuff all day long because I know it's good." So he's actually put me on his pro staff, and so we'll be doing stuff with him, and we're going to be using his dragon sinkers, which Santee drifters, and he puts out a great dragon weight there, and he's got them that's 4 ounces, and that's what I need to keep them down on bottom. So he's sending those out to me, and we're going to be doing a lot of different videos doing what I call a reverse drift, where we're drifting them on the bottom or dragging them on the bottom, but we're actually drifting down the river doing it.
We're gonna get back to that. We have a question in chat. Fishing Louisiana knows, what kind of rods do you use?
I use, like I say, right now, I use the ugly sticks, the catfish ugly sticks, which are the white ones. I use a bait caster, and I have a couple of Mad Cats also that I'm using. I just got those. I just started trying those out. I like those because they will throw so much more weight. But I'll just be honest with you, I like the ugly sticks for this drifting I'm doing, just because they hit it so violent and they have a lot of give on them that they'll actually give a little bit where it's not so stiff when they hit it that it'll go down and then it'll hook them there. I feel like it don't have as much resistance as what the Mad Cats do, but I really like the Mad Cats for the anchoring down, and especially to be able to throw them. They'll outthrow my ugly sticks by probably 100 feet.
So you're in South Carolina?
No, Tennessee. I fish
in Tennessee. I'm sorry.
I live in Georgia, but I drive to Tennessee. I live in Jasper, Georgia, so I drive an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes up there to fish the river.
Now, with you doing this new technique, reverse drifting?
Yes, sir.
Or however you call it, how has that been helping you catching more cats?
Well, like I say, I get to cover more ground. When I'm drifting up in the lake or dragging, I do a drag up there. So the front of the boat goes, and you're dragging out the back. So you're going, you can go pretty much any way you want to up there. And a lot of times you're going against the wind and stuff. But in the river, like I say, I call it a reverse because I'm not actually, the front of the boat's not leading it. The back of the boat is actually going down the river. And they are dragging. It's sort of in between a drag. It's in between a bump and a drag because I'm not letting a lot of line out. I'm just letting enough line to let it still drag the bottom, so I'm not bumping it. You see a lot of guys bumping it. I'm actually putting them down on the bottom. But if they come off the bottom, it's not, sometimes they will come off the bottom. But I'm letting them probably, once it hits the bottom, then I'm letting them go about 4 to 5 feet. and dragging them that way. So it's sort of in between a drag and a bump, but but you're just you're going with the flow of the river, and you're slowing it down to about a half mile an hour. That's your ultimate, trying to stay around a half mile an hour. So you're covering a lot of ground. So if you're pulling up somewhere and there's no fish there, you're not wasting 20 minutes. You're going to slowly float by there, and if they're there, they're just slamming it.
So, what gave you the idea to come up with that?
I seen how guys are dragging, and I'm looking at them doing it on the lakes like Jimmy and Kevin with Palmettos and all those guys and Dieter Melhorn. I actually talked to Dieter at the Caterpillar and talked to him how he was doing it. And I kept thinking there's got to be a way to do it on the river. And I told the guys there, I said, guys, we might not catch anything, but hey, let's try this. Let's just try it. I really want to try it. I said, what I want to do is let them hit the bottom, let them drag, but I want to still slow the boat down enough where it's about a half mile an hour. I said, it may not work at all. But we started doing it, and then we started catching fish, and every fish we were catching was bigger than the fish we'd already caught, just sitting there anchor fishing. So it seems to be catching a bigger fish this way. Or right now it is.
So compared to the old way of you fishing, drifting, come to this way, have you seen an increase of fish?
Not as much. Somewhat, maybe a little bit. Like I said, I'm just getting into it good because I'm having to, with those 2.5 ounce sinkers, I'm either having to put 2 on it or I was having to use a coin sinker to keep them down, and those get hung up and all. So I haven't done it enough to really say I'm doing better, but I'm doing a better quality of fish as far as size. I'm getting bigger fish by doing the dragging like this.
So basically, you stepped up the game in size of fish.
Yes.
But not the small ones.
Right. Yeah.
You're actually getting the bigger fish more than you're getting the.
Yeah, where I might get, where I can catch some 8 to 12 pounders when I'm just anchor fishing. The fish that I'm catching when I'm doing this reverse drag is being anywhere from 18 to, like I say, I caught a 43 pounder also. So, like I say, I'm not saying I haven't done it enough to say for sure if it's going to do more numbers, but it's doing bigger weight-wise numbers. I'm catching bigger fish.
Okay.
I think once I get these bigger, these heavier dragging weights from Santee Drifters, that it's going to really step it up a lot better because it's going to hold them down better where they'll stay dragging better and heavier currents. Right now, like I say, it was when I was trying to use if they turned the water up over 20,000, my sinkers was coming up off the bottom and it was floating up. So I think it's going to make a big difference for me, and I'll really be able to see a big difference. And the way his sinkers are made, they're flexible, so they'll slide over stuff a lot easier, I think, especially the way that the river, I think the way the river is going to make them do.
Right. Now tell us a little bit more about your sponsor.
That's going to, like I say, it's going to be Jimmy Smith with Santee Drifters. He's asked me to come on with his pro staff, so we're going to be doing a lot of videos showing, how we're using his drifters, his drifting weights. I say he makes I've always liked the way they're made, and he makes the heavy ones so it can be done in the river. So that's going to be a game changer, and I think he's such a good guy, and I really appreciate him doing this for me.
So as far as you already have a bass fishing boat already set up for catfishing.
It's not a bass. It's more of a walleye boat.
Right, it's a walleye boat, but you adapted it for catfishing.
Yes.
And I noticed you won a tournament once.
Yeah, 3+1 did a tournament with it was 4 or 5 of us in there.
The Catfish Rumble.
Yeah, we did a tournament with them, and we won that tournament. Yeah, it's the only one I've ever done, and we won it. So, and you know what it did? We did first thing we started off. We did the free lining, and we caught four or six channel cats right off the bat. So we caught those, and then I said, well, it went by points. And so if you caught a channel cat and a flathead and a blue cat, that was a trifecta, what we call a trifecta, and
Right.
it gave you 5 extra points on top of that. So I said, we're going to do that. We're going to try for that. So after we caught the channel cat, we ran down to one of my flathead holes, and lo and behold, what do you think I caught in my flathead hole? Blue cats, of course. So it was fun. We actually did it. We got triple. We caught 2 blues, and I was like, I can't believe I'm catching blues out of a hole. I catch flatheads all the time. And just as soon as we got the second blue in the boat, and we caught it 2 right together, bam, the flathead caught, and we caught the flathead. So we wound up catching all 3 species. But I was getting scared there as a minute. I was like, I catch a flathead out of this hole every time I come in it, and now here I come in here and I'm catching blues. So we did real good with it. Well, I think we caught a 27-pound blue that day.
You schooled them that day, because I tell you what, you're freelining and everybody else is using rod and reels, and you're bringing them in just with your hands.
Yeah. Well, we freeline on a rod and reel, but it's a fun way to do it. I mean, if nobody's done any freelining, they need to try that sometime. Just put a piece of chicken on a 5/0 hook and just start going. And you don't have to do it down. Joe does it. There's a place called Moscow Bend. He'll do it down to there. He'll go right down to the middle of Chattanooga on the river, and there's certain places that he'll drag also.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I never thought about trying to freeline for cats.
Yep, it's freelining. It's fun. It's a different way. I love different ways. I say most time you're not going to catch a big one, but it's just it's hard to believe you're going to take a piece of a chicken with no hook and throw it out there and catch catfish floating down the river. But yeah.
Because normally when I heard freelining for cats, I'm like, okay, they're using some 50-pound heavy monofilament with a circle hook and a big chunk of bait and just throwing it out there as far as he can get it.
Nope. Totally the opposite of that. We're just using 10 to 12-pound test line and a piece of chicken on a 5/0 tail hook with a swivel.
Now, I thought about trying that with braid, but that'd probably come out the wrong way.
Yeah. Try it. If you got a boat, try it sometime. Get in some current, find you some eddies or, some current break or whatever. Just go down that current break, drop you down some chicken. It's usually going to stay behind your boat. Your boat will go faster than with that chicken will because it's a little buoyant and it'll hold back. Just throw it out there. Look at your depth. The depth will sort of tell you how far you need to throw it out there. And try floating. It will work. I mean, if people look at me like, what? But it works. I'll give my boy Joe credit for that one.
So, do you fish year round, or you just do you a lot of winter fishing, or what?
Oh yes, sir. I caught that flathead in February. I fish year round, every chance I can year round. I just bundle up a lot and go fishing. I've got a little heater too, but if the wind doesn't blow it out, I've got a little heater I can put in there. But sometimes on that river, that wind comes between those mountains and blows it out. But
do you change your tactics up in the wintertime, or do you keep them the same?
I do differently. Like I said, I've only been catfishing for, like I say, about 9 months. Up there in that river. They're a slower hit. And I use electronics a lot more to pinpoint them. It's a slower, a little bit slower, but I still do the 20-minute time limit deal. But I use my electronics a lot more because you've got to find those things. It's like in the wintertime, now that's just me and people, like I say, as old Mean Gene says, in my opinion, it's better. To me, it's better in the wintertime to use those electronics because they seem to group up in holes more than in the summertime. I find that they're a little more spread out in the summertime than in the wintertime. I have to hunt them and find them a lot more.
Wow. I mean, you've only been fishing for that short a time, and you come up with some monster cats.
Yeah, I think. I tell everybody I'm just lucky.
Luck.
That's what yeah.
There's more to that than just luck, because first it's a 72, then it's a 50, then it's a 40. Then
I've caught anywhere from 10. I've caught every level from 10 to 72. I haven't caught a 60 pounder yet, but I've caught every level except for 60 pound up to 72 so far.
And your biggest blue cat is what?
56 pounds.
Are you looking to break that record?
Oh yeah, 56. Yes, sir. I want to break that record. That's not going to be a record that I'm going to. And I'm happy if I don't. But I know that river holds a lot of fish over 56 pounds.
Oh yeah, that Mississippi holds a lot of fish.
Well, it's a Tennessee, but yeah, the Tennessee River holds it's where I fish it. It's got a lot of them. I mean, of course, it does up on the Chickamauga Lake, Chickamauga, and down on Nickajack, and you can catch them anywhere. But it seems like the area that I fish in, I pull it. I really put it to. I studied all that video and learned so much and learned things to look for just because of Joe. I mean, I tell Joe all the time, man, you put me ahead of the game so far by watching those videos than me just going out there, jumping on the river and trying to learn to catfish. Guys, if you want to learn, find somebody that's fishing your area on YouTube that's catching fish and catching them all the time. Watch what they're doing. Those guys aren't catching. They're working hard. You don't just go out there and start catching them. You got to learn that water, and learning the water, you can start off by watching YouTube and learning from those guys what they're doing. Just find people in your area. That's what I did.
So, what do you have planned for your YouTube channel this year?
I'm doing the little what I call I'm doing this video, and it may if it bombs, it bombs. But it's a little adventure video that I'm doing that I think will be fun. It's based on a chicken. Let's just put it that way. And I think that's going to be fun. Doing this new reverse drift is a big part of some of my goal. Just learning different ways. People get tired of, and I can tell it that, I anchor fish so much, and I'm like, I need to change this up. Even though I know they enjoy seeing these fish come in, I want to show them different ways to catch catfish, that you don't just have to anchor up, or you don't just have to drift, or you don't have to free line. There's different ways to do it, and, you get confidence in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Once you learn this way and you can get confidence, just like bass fishing. I used to be a big bass fisher. My most confident bait I was confident was a plastic worm. If I couldn't catch them any other way, I was going to my go-to bait was plastic worm. Same thing with catfish. What you're comfortable with. But I want to show different ways you can catch catfish other than just sitting there in one spot for 4 hours with a chicken liver.
I don't know too many people that still use chicken liver.
There's a lot of them where I live.
Huh?
There's a lot where I live. Yeah, I take people out all the time. Jay Reed, he's in two of my videos. He's like, I can't believe you catch them like this. We used to just always sit around with chicken liver and fish with them all the time. I said, well, that's what I used to do too, till I found YouTube and learned that there was something better than chicken liver out there in Catawba worms.
Now, like you said, you're going to do a video on your reverse drifting, right?
Yes. Yep. I'm actually going to have one come out in a couple of weeks. My videos are behind just because I had so many in there. I do usually do a couple a week. I try to do one on Monday and Thursday, but I've had some situations lately. My mother's in bad health, so I'm sitting with her a lot. But when I go to the river, I get there early in the morning and I leave at dark or after dark. So I do a lot of fishing in there. And so I may do a video in the morning of doing fishing one way and then do a video that evening fishing another way. So if you see I catch 6 on this one and 8 on this one, that might be a full day and I might have caught 14 to 20 fish, So it's just according to how many I catch and when I decide to switch up and stuff like that.
No, that for someone that has been on the scene for for that short of time, you have videos that just. I know you're a wrestling coach.
I ran a professional wrestling like WWF.
Right.
I ran a professional wrestling show, and that's where I learned the things to look for videos. And I'd say I wrote stories for the wrestling shows and stuff like that. And that's sort of my background on learning how to do the videoing.
But how did that get you into targeting more viewers?
Just learning catchphrases, the catch videos, like the titles. Don't lie. I'm not lying when I put something on there. I'm just making it a little more, oh man,
intriguing.
Trouble. What is that? What happened? You don't know if that happened. Something happened bad on the river, or he caught 2 fish. You just
you make it more intriguing. You making it more intriguing for someone to want to look at it.
I'm trying to get their curiosity up. You know what I'm
saying?
Right. I'm trying to get the curiosity up of, hey, what happened to this guy? Everybody, this world's set off on drama anymore. I mean, the train wreck's coming. You want to see if it happened or not, And so I try to put a title out there. It's not just, hey, I caught a blue cat today, or hey, I caught a 42-pound blue. They've seen
that last one you put out,
sir.
That last video you put out is taking off like a rocket.
Is it still? That's great.
I'm like, I've been keeping an eye on that video, and it's not stopping.
I just wish they'd subscribe, though. They won't none of them subscribe.
I'm telling you what, it was when we first started this live.
Yes, sir.
It was at 540, and it's almost doubled it.
Yeah,
it's at 982 right now.
I knew it.
It's still climbing.
Yeah. You see things and you're like, okay, this is gonna go, and you just, when you see it, you're like, okay, this is the train wreck that everybody wants to see, and you just throw it out there.
That was not a train wreck. That was a slap in the face. Because I'd almost have to say you almost intentionally steered into that big wave.
I swear we did not know that was going to happen. Now I do have, like I say, I have a fishing show that I'm going to come out with. Is intentional setup stuff, but nothing you see on my regular fishing stuff is set up. I promise you, I would never.
No, that one was just epic, guys. I was just watching him just bounce like this. All of a sudden,
did you see? He caught himself the first time. He nearly tilted the first time, and I guess we got to talking a little bit, and he forgot about it. That the waves come up, and like if you'll watch it real close, I did give the boat just a little more gas. And I guess hitting that wake and giving it just a little more gas just threw him over backwards.
I thought he was going to go at the back of the boat. I seen him going up and that boat going forward. I'm like, there he goes.
I put it when I put something like out there, I share it with a bunch of different catfish pages. And I put on there, if you can't laugh about this, you need to get your heart checked.
What was his comment when he stood up? I didn't quite understand that. Was his something about you should have got that on video?
What's that now?
Didn't he say something like you should have got that on video or something?
He looked at his because we you know he's got Bobcat Outdoors and I got Trail Seekers Outdoors. Well, we was doing a video together when we was fishing. This happened yesterday.
Right.
It was videoed yesterday. So he had his camera on that pole. I don't know if you noticed. He looks at it. That's where I have my cameras. You can see that pole. Those are lights too, where I can fish at night. And he got up and said, he goes, I hope I got that on camera. And he looks at his camera. I said, I don't know if you did or not, but I know I did because I pointed at my camera because I knew it was running for sure. So we both knew that was a money shot right there when it happened.
Oh, that's a money shot, but that had to hurt his pride a little bit too.
You know, once you notice, we just started dying laughing. It was so funny the way it happened. It was like he went over in slow motion when it really happened. It was just like, whoop, and there he went.
Because when he came up out of that chair, his hands went forward like, come here, I'm trying to grab that pole. That pole was like, nope, 5 steps back. And she's going back towards the back of the boat. I'm like, this is either going to end up real bad, he's going to end up hurting his pride landing in the boat, or it's really bad in the water.
Yeah. Well, my sides are about 2 foot high, so it'd been hard for it to fall backward with the boat. He sure went backward. It was a good thing that the seats are way forward too. And that's one thing I like about that boat because when you catch a fish, it's easier to bring it in the back of the boat. You don't have stuff in the way. But did you notice where he put his chair after he found it? He moved it to the back of the boat and set it.
He didn't sit in that chair very long after that, did he?
I told him, I said, Woody sits in it and he never has no problem. Are you not as smart as Woody?
Oh,
it's hilarious.
Well, it's been fun. And I'm glad you came on. It's been a great night. What would be your final thoughts?
I thank everybody for watching my videos. Thank you. You guys, stay tuned. We got a lot of good stuff coming. Like I say, this may not be something you guys enjoy, but I think you'll really enjoy it. We've got this little fishing sort of sitcom-like deal. It's going to be a continuous thing if people really like it. We got Santee Drifters. Check out their website, santeedrifters.com. Coming on board with us. We're going to be doing a lot of that reverse drifting. I think it's something that's going to be really cool to watch when we get doing that right there. I've got one video that's coming out where I'm doing it. It's just we couldn't do a real good job just because we didn't have the weights, but I think that's really going to be something that people will get interested in. And if they fish in rivers, it's something that they could try and work good. And God bless everybody, and I appreciate everybody out there. And we're going to have fun, and I hope you guys have fun watching it.
Well, I know a lot of boat fishermen that do fish rivers and they do drift. And if they do see that video, they're probably going to get the idea of trying it.
Yeah.
I know if Creole Catfishing was in here, he would probably be interested in that.
Right.
But
one other real quick thing. Also, next weekend I've got 3+1 coming down and fishing with me, and we're going to be doing the Iron Cat catch and cook that night. And I am planning on doing the free lining to catch the channel cats because Ruth State, if you catch something over 10 pounds, you have to turn it loose. And I'm not trying to brag, but it's hard for me to fish the way I fish downriver with blues and flatheads and catch one under 10 pounds. So we're going to probably free line that day and catch what we're going to cook then.
No, that's going to be. You going to do a video of that? Because I'd like to see 3+1 do some free lining.
Yeah, we're going to do. We may want. We'll be doing that during the Iron Cat live. The cook. It's next Saturday, from 4 to 9, I think it is. It's the Iron Cat. Kevin with Palmetto's doing it. It's the
Yeah.
Iron Cat catch and cook. So we'll do the flat line to catch our catfish, and then we'll pull off on the side of the river because just can't do that on the river cooking. I really don't seem safe to be cooking in a boat anyway. So we'll pull off
No.
the side of the river and do the cooking part of it. And actually, it's going to be separate. 3+1 will be in the back of my boat, and they're doing their thing, and I'll be in the front of the boat, and I'm going to be going against them as far as the cook off and everything.
Hello, Lisa Lee and Terry Harrison. Welcome. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. We're just fixing to close this down. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thank you, Trophy Seekers Outdoors. I see you going a lot farther with your channel because you got good content, and I'll be in touch with you about some of your tips for titles and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
Because I have a hard time at times trying to come up with titles for things.
It is tough. And I'll tell you one other quick thing too. If they'll go over to Facebook and to my Facebook channel, Trophy Seekers Outdoors, you'll see the fish I catch before the video comes out. Anybody that goes to my Facebook gets a sneak peek to see the fish I'm catching. I post them on my Facebook page. You'll see them before the video comes out. So you get a sneak peek of what I caught before you see the video.
Well, you're up to 373 right now.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
That video is still climbing.
Great.
I can't believe it. It's just going.
Well, we made it to 375 in 5 months. Maybe about a year we'll get to 1,000. That's my goal in a year, get to 1,000.
Well, the way you're going, you might make it before then.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, it is what it is. I just hope the people that just subscribe really watch the videos because I think there's a little something for everybody in those videos.
Well, the videos are good because it gets you the views, and try going live once in a while when you're fishing to see how that helps you with your subscribers.
3+1 is going to teach me how to do that. I actually don't know how. Like I say, I'm not computer savvy, so when they come up, they're going to show me how to do that, and we'll do some live stuff.
Okay.
Right. I say I know how to edit. I do a lot. I do all the editing myself. Every video you see, I've edited myself. I have to be taught before I can do it. I can't. My mind, because of all the chemo I had, it's hard for me to follow stuff. I mean, that's why when I was coming on here and it didn't work, I didn't know what to do. I sort of panicked.
Can I get one of my mods to post Trophy Seekers Outdoors? And you guys can go over there and see his latest epic funny video and some of his other great videos he has. Fins and Finds. I hope that you hook into a big flathead out there with catfish and crappie.
Thank you.
And hold on, I'm going to have to go back and get that because I don't think they know where to find it. I will post that in chat one more time. That's why I have two units going on at one time. There we go. Just in case. There we go. Oh, dang it. Gaffy, stop. Thank you, Jeremy. Oh, that didn't work. But it got posted. Go over there and watch some of his videos and subscribe to his channel and show him some love and some support. And be sure to leave a comment on his channel. And I see this channel going to skyrocket. And once you start doing lives,
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee you're going to get more subscribers as well.
Right. Yeah, we'll like I said, we're going to start doing some as soon as Larry and Cody get down here. They're going to show me how to do it. And Bob with Bobcat Outdoors, he said he'd show me also. So I got some people going to show me. It's just, I wanted to get myself established before I try to get into something else. I like to crawl before I walk and walk before I run.
Well, you showed Bobcat how to crawl again.
Yeah, he's still crawling. He's probably got an ice pack on his head right now.
He probably got a bandage across his backside too.
Oh man, that was so funny.
That had to hurt.
After I put it up, after I did the editing on it, I had to watch it 4 or 5 times. I just laughed, and then I kicked myself. I said I should have showed him falling like 4 times in a row in that video before he hit. After he did it, and then go back and do it again. I thought of some stuff I should have done, but I'd already posted it by then. But I could have really made it. But it was funny enough the way it was.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, good night. Tight lines. I know you got to get up and take care of your mom in the morning.
Well, like I say, I thank you for having me on. You guys stay tuned. We got some really good stuff coming up in the future on some videos.
I can't wait because after that one,
Yeah.
it can only get better.
Oh, hey, I have fun making fun of myself, and you're going to see this. These are going to be comedic videos. They'll be funny videos that'll leave you laughing.
I wasn't expecting that when I seen it.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting him to be in the boat.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be another person on another boat, but that was just.
I like comedy. I like how everybody knows me. I'll tell you, I'll make some fun of myself quicker than anybody than I will other people. And you're gonna see what I do in the future, what I like to do in the future. It'll be fun.
That's giving me some ideas, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good night, everybody. We'll talk to you later, and see you next week.